Hello, this is Jamie from randomizeuser.com with a raw beginner's guide to the Planet Nomads Alpha. This video will help start you off, including understanding the interface, how to build structures and vehicles, how to wire everything up, exploring the planet, and a few other hints and tips. This is based on the first release of the alpha in August-September 2016, so bear in mind things will change as the game is developed. The environment. The world in the current version of the game is split across 11 biomes, with the boundaries running latitudinally, so if you want to find new biomes, travel north or south. Colder biomes are found, logically enough, towards the north and south poles. Future versions will offer various planets to start on, but right now the seed determines where on the planet you'll actually start, from green forests to stark red meadows. If you don't like where you spawn, just quit and try another seed. For this guide though, I'm going to use my junkyard base save, which I located on the first wide open area that I found. Building things. When constructing things in this game, there are two modes, which you toggle by pressing Tab. In normal mode, you can build whatever you have selected in your hotbar at the bottom, pressing 1 to 0 to select. In build vision mode, you can't build anything new, which is a bit confusing. In fact, this is where you do things such as connect to electricity, turn power on, alter a vehicle's steering, firm up the suspension, and so on. We won't need this just yet though, so I'll just press Tab to get back to normal. Okay, so when you do start a new character, you'll probably get a hotbar full of vehicle bits. It'll look a little different to mine, but don't worry. We'll build a vehicle later on in the video, but first let's build a light, and then a basic structure. Lighting up. So, press B to open your catalogue of building bits. Right, so this is split up into tabs. The first one just contains everything. The interior tab contains mostly windows and floors. The energy tab contains the power generator. The utility tab contains a lot of very useful parts and lighting, both for structures and vehicles. The mobility tab contains vehicle-only bits such as wheels. And the basic tab just contains building blocks. So, the day-night cycle in this game is actually quite brutal, so the first thing we'll need to do is build a beacon, demonstrated here. So, go to the Utility tab of your building thing. That one. Find the beacon. That one. And then drag it to a slot in your hotbar. I'm just going to put it into my 0 slot. Right, so let's just place a generator. Make sure that the outline is yellow rather than red. If you place it somewhere that you don't want, just hover over it and right-click and it'll disappear. And this applies to any build icon. Let's actually just put it back down again. I'm just going back into here. Now we also need to go to the Energy tab and choose a generator and put that into your hotbar. I've already got it in there and you may already have it too, so it's going to be in number 6. Right, so let's also place the generator, place it right next to the beacon. So this is going to be what powers it. There we go. So now we need to go back into build vision mode, which is pressing Tab. And you can tell this is on by the little spanner icon on the right hand side. So as I mentioned earlier, in build vision mode you can no longer build anything, but when you hover over anything electrical, a blue context wheel will pop up. Here, amongst other things, you can press the power icon to toggle things off and on, although it will default to being on. All very interesting, but we're not wired up yet. So hover over the generator and click the Connect Electricity button, which is at the top right. And you'll notice your mouse cursor is now a little kind of plug thing. Hover over the beacon and select the little blue hexagon that appears. There we go. And now you can see the beacon is actually now switched on and powered. How lovely! Well, whilst we're in here, do notice that you can actually change the colour of the beacon by hovering over this segment here. Green, blue, yellow, and green again. Oh, yeah, it's decent enough. But whatever. Okay, so now we can press Tab to leave build vision mode. Also, a point of order here, even when you're in normal mode, you can switch power on and off by pressing E to interact with various stuff. So just point at that, press E, and the beacon switches off. Press E again, and it switches back on again. Okay, so that leads us into a brief intermission to explain the limitations of power. Energy limits. Okay, since we've started to use energy already, I do need to explain something vital about generators. You can only connect up a limited number of things to each generator. If you check the catalogue, you'll see if you hover over the generator in the energy tab, there's a little 80 watts icon in the bottom right blue hexagon. That means it has a limit of 80 watts. Everything you connect up to it has an equivalent wattage. So if you go to the beacon, that uses up 60 watts. So you can only connect up one beacon per generator, otherwise bad things will happen. Well, that's not entirely true. It just means that both beacons won't work until you either disconnect one of them or power one of them off. A regular tripod light, by the way, which is in utility, that only uses up 2 watts. So in theory, you could connect up 40 lights to one generator. So let's quickly demonstrate what I was talking about. I'm going to now delete that generator by pressing right click. That beacon is now off. Now I'm going to go into build vision mode. I'm going to try and wire up that beacon to this generator over here. Connect, go over to here, and bonk. Nothing. Also, that beacon is switched off. Technically it hasn't actually switched off, it's just overloaded, so it is still technically powered on and connected. So, if I go over here and switch this beacon off, that beacon comes back on again. Now, to switch it back on, go over to here and switch that one off, that one comes on. But, there we go, neither is now working. So do bear in mind that energy does have its limitations. Since we're in creative mode, adding an extra generator isn't a hardship, of course, but come survival mode, you may have to do a bit of juggling. Building structures. Now we're familiar with the menus, building a structure will be quite easy. I'm going to select a few things from the catalogue and put them on the hotbar now, which are freshly cleared. And by the way, to clear things, you just could just drag it out like that, and it'll be disappeared. So what we're going to do is build a tiny outhouse-sized building. So first I'm going to select the 1x1 block, put that into there. Now I'm going to get a door from the interior. I'm also, whilst I'm here, going to get a small window. I'm also going to get a 3x3 floor, and there's also a 1x1 if you want that. I'm going to build a generator as well. And maybe an internal light as well, which I think is under utility. There we go. So we'll start with the basic 1x1 block. There it is. The way modular building works in this game is that the first thing you place down can be built at any angle you want. Hey. This establishes a grid, and anything you build that touches it will align to the grid. And the coloured outline will guide you. If it's red, you can't place it here. If it's yellow, you can place it freely, unaligned with anything else. If it's green, it'll snap to the existing stuff you've built, nicely aligned. Now, there's an exception here. If the block is aligned with the grid, but also intersecting with landscape, like that, it'll be yellow rather than green. You can still place it, don't worry. Okay, so let's build our outhouse over here. I'm going to build a 5x5 sort of square thing first, like that, making sure that it's aligned. Coming back down here, like that. Round here, 3, 4, 5, and there we go. If you find it easier, go into third person. Sometimes with building, it is actually easier in third person. So I'm going to stick in this for a while. Now to actually do the corners of the house, so there we go. Unlike Minecraft, you don't actually have to be, wherever. Yep. There. Oh God, there we go. Oh. I think I've got enough. I might actually need to have added an. Oh dear, no. Need an extra thing on top. Hup, there we go. As usual, just right-click if you make a mistake, and the thing underneath your cursor will disappear. So, up. And there we go. There's a start. Not great, is it? Anyway, so let's place a 3x3 bit of floor. So select that, number 4. Now, things get a little trickier. This is where rotation becomes important. You press X, and let's get a bit closer. In fact, let's go into first person, so I can show you. If you press X, it'll change the axis of rotation, indicated by the red, green, or the blue thing. Then use your scroll wheel to rotate it around that axis like that. Right, so that's actually nicely flat. So we go point it downwards and align it like that. Yes, you could always put it, change things around now like that. But obviously, since it's a floor, it doesn't really matter too much. And there you go. You've got a little bit of floor. Marvellous. It can be annoying at first trying to get everything aligned, but you'll get the hang of it eventually. So now we can add the door. Press 2 and we'll add the door. Well, just rotate it. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. Okay, press X, then rotate it, and place. And we have a door. We will actually need to... Oh, we've crouched. We will actually need to put a roof on this. So, try and go up in the air, land on there, and do that. And there we go. We can also start adding the rest of it. There we go. So now let me just finish this off, and we'll continue. Okay, nearly done. Last few blocks. Et voila. In fact, let's put him a little step. There we go. That's much more like it. Now, there's only one problem with this at the moment. And let's just get rid of that. If you go up to the door, you can't get in. It's locked because it isn't powered. So we need to stick down a generator. You can always put this inside if you want, if you can actually get inside. And now we're going to just wire it up. So, connect, connect. Right. Now if you go up to it and press E, you can activate it like that. And close it again like that. Sort of. Or what you can do also is put it into automatic mode. Press tab, choose auto function, and in theory, when you get close to it, it'll automatically open and close again. Marvellous. Okay, so now I'm going to finish it off by punching a quick hole in the wall and adding a little window. So I'd right click and I have to rotate this. So like that. A really tiny little window there. Marvellous. And I'm also going to put in an internal light. If we can just get inside. There we go. Press 6. A light. Build mode. So connect. Connect. And there we have it. We have a nice toilet. Apparently it doesn't have a roof. I forgot to put in a roof, but never mind. Building vehicles. Now we know how to build, this will be easier, especially if you can follow the instructions by pressing F3. And we'll run through this now. If you've been building structures and stuff, your hotbar will by now be gummed up with unwanted gubs, so you'll have to either go into the catalogue and locate a jack, cockpit, generator, suspension, wheels, 1x1 block, and a generator, or just start a fresh character, and they'll be in your hotbar by default. So for this section, I'm basically going to recreate this vehicle again. So first of all, you need to select your jack and place that down. This, by the way, is better in third person, so let's just switch to that. Now we choose the cockpit and place it on top of the jack. Rotate as necessary, probably not upside down, but you might want to spin it around like that. Okay, let's place it facing the correct direction. Right, so now we're going to choose our normal blocks, and that's number 1 on my hotbar, and we're going to create 1, 2, 3, 4. So just a little bit of extra space to play with. Now we're going to put on 4 bits of suspension, so I'm pressing 4. It might be different for yours, by the way, so don't ignore the numbers that I'm saying. You add the little suspension on each corner, making sure there's enough space between them. It looks a bit funny when you first put them down, but don't worry. So I'm just going to place another 2 around this side. And voila. We can connect up the wheels now, so select your wheels and place them on the end, making sure it goes green to show you that it's actually aligned with the vehicle. Go around the other side and place. That's all very nice. So the instructions now tell you to delete the jack by right-clicking it, but you can leave it there for now whilst we wire the vehicle up. We do need to do one more thing whilst I'm at it, and that's just bung on a generator on the back. Anywhere will do, but yes. Okay, so now we're going to go into Build Vision, and we're going to connect up the front wheels to the generator. So go to the generator, choose Connect, and go to each of the front wheels for front wheel drive. That's 1, And connect. And that's 2. Marvellous. Right, so now we need to go around all 4 wheels, making sure that they're going to turn in the right direction and that the powered wheels will steer in the right direction. So for each of the front wheels, make sure that the yellow rotation arrows show the wheel is rotating forwards, not backwards. Both the wheels around this side are facing forwards, so we're okay, but around the other side, if you notice, they're all going backwards. So go to the bottom one, which is forward direction, and that'll make sure that the wheels are going forwards. For both of the powered wheels, you'll also need to make sure that the steering is correct. So toggle this from no steering to steering. If the arrows are still in the wrong place, i.e. not at the front, you'll have to click that again. But by the looks of it, steering is the one that we want, and I also need to do it for this one as well. And there we go. Now you need to check your back wheels as well. That one's correct. I just need to make sure that's turning in the right direction. But this one is facing backwards, so toggle that. And there we have it. As you can see, all the arrows are now facing in the right direction, and everything will be groovy. Now, this is actually technically the end of the instructions. Let's show you. This is the end of the instructions here. However, there is one more thing that you could do with doing. So I'm just going to go back into build mode and add on these headlights. These can be found in your build menu under utility. These are called searchlights front mount. And these will also need to be wired up. So just go to the generator, connect, and go to here. So one of them is switched on, connect. Ah, there we go. Sometimes that can be a bit fiddly, and both headlights are now working. Right, so now go into normal mode. Now I can delete the jack by right-clicking it. And there we have it. We have a lit vehicle. Exploring the world. Right, let's go for a spin in our new car. Hover over the cockpit and press E, and you are now inside it. You can do this in first person or third. Third is a lot easier. So I'm just going to try and navigate out of my base. Go for the ramp. And go! Oh! Well, be careful. Right, so now we can keep on going. I do suggest saving your game before you set off on a big adventure, in case you end up flipping your car. Terrain can get mountainous or dense with forest, so if you're travelling by vehicle, be aware you're not going to be able to pass every obstacle. It is very dark at the moment. I also recommend you don't do too much travelling at night, because these flashlights aren't that powerful. If you do end up on foot in the dark, you can press F to toggle your flashlight, like that. But let's stick to the car for the time being, and possibly wait until morning. So you'll need to experiment with different design cars to get the very best out of exploration. Bear in mind that each unit has weight, so you can make light or heavyweight vehicles. You can use build vision to try front, rear or 4x4 steering. You can change the suspension pressure, the speed of the wheels, and so on. One more thing to mention, you can alter the terrain itself if it starts to defeat your vehicle. So let's just get out. So you can use one of your tools. You can either use your mining tool, and let's actually go into first person. You can either use your mining tool to dig the landscape out, or you can toggle to cutter, and you can cut down trees. There it goes. And therefore it becomes passable. Not that it was impassable before, but you know what I mean. Also, if you are on foot, if you press caps lock, you will start walking without actually pressing any keys or anything. Oh no, I'm going into a hole. Ah! I'm fine. It's fine. I'm fine, everyone. Right, just take that off again. Right. Cool. Okay, so I'll let you explore the planet on your own. Just remember not to get too precious about your vehicle. And remember that with the dynamic weather system, it can get very dark very quickly, so keep your wits about you. Obviously this guide can't cover the stuff that's yet to be added, but hopefully it'll be relevant for the basics for some time. I hope to return to Planet Nomads for future guides, so press subscribe to be notified about that and other randomised user videos, such as RimWorld, Starbound, and lots of stuff like that. Actually, this hill is very steep. I think I might be going for a right old spin here. Okay, so thanks for watching, happy building, and see you next time.